Hey, yo. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm stitch free now,
Oh, yeah,
as you
that's
can
it.
see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got
Healed up like Wolverine, just not a mark on me. Still pretty as promised.
Of course, man. It's like, you should be fine. You're
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely beautiful day
It
here in
is.
Sydney town.
It's humid, but like it's
It's warm.
sunny.
It is warm, yeah, but it's a nice day.
It definitely is, mate.
So everything's looking up.
It's no day in paradise.
Yeah, no complaints whatsoever.
Oh, of course. So, another episode, another guest as well. Back on it. Yeah, a little solo episode like before that felt good, but like yeah, it's always good to run the guest, especially when there's a lot of good shows coming up.
Yeah, and how good is this that there's like a big lineup of good shows going on again? Like things are starting to feel busy, and there's promoters that want to talk to us about lineups they're putting on. I think it's pretty exciting times at the moment.
Yes, it is. So let's introduce our guest from here. He's the promoter of Pince Promotions. That one who has an epic 8-man coming up and
Huge.
K1 Kickboxing style, which is like, man, that brings up some nostalgia back to me.
Yeah.
So on the line at the moment we have Pince Bunjaku. How are you today, sir?
Good boys, how's it going? All right?
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for spending a bit of time with us. To talk about the show. But like when everyone gets first time on our show from here, we always like a little bit of background. Like, we want to see what the man's about. So, what is like? How did you get into martial arts? And like yourself, you're a fighter. Yeah. Also, which like we might even talk about the epic fight that you have coming up in August as well.
There's a little big fight coming up.
But like, Pince, talk about your background in fighting and how did that come about?
I've been fighting since I was born, man. So all my uncles are boxers, all my cousins are boxers, all my other cousins are kickboxers. There's no man in my family that doesn't know how to fight. It's just, it is what it is. We're just brought up like that. Most of my distant relatives, they either got boxing gyms or they're boxers. I've got a female cousin that's a boxer, Susie Q. So the whole family's just lost the plot. We all just want to like punching on. So there's like about 5 or 6 karate and boxing, and then obviously just eventually end up a kickboxer when you do karate and boxing. So that's kind of the way of it.
Yeah, especially in Melbourne as well. Like Melbourne has such a rich history in kickboxing. Also,
the Wild West out here, man. You're not going to make it. It's as simple as that.
Did you have some heroes looking up to, like when you're getting in the kickboxing scene, that you just go, yo, I want to be like him?
Oh yes and no. Obviously, I like the Van Damme movies. When you're in the '90s, a young kid in the '90s, everyone wanted to be a Power Ranger. I wanted to be Bloodsport or Kickbox. Those movies are. I think it was about 9, 10, whatever it was. We were forced to watch Steven Seagal, Van Damme, and Bruce Lee, and that's all we watched as kids. We didn't watch cartoons, so you grow up front. And I teach my kids the same. My 6-year-old jumps around the house, throwing kicks and with nunchucks. And that's a good way to be brought up, I suppose. It keeps you strong, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of that's all we know. So my kids are pretty much the same. It's weird the way it works, to be honest.
Well, that's it. It's like at least he's like it had like a somewhat positive outlet to put it into as well, like into an athletic career, and a pretty successful athletic career also. Like,
I've been going all right.
Yeah, that's it, man. So when you fight, like you are still fighting because there is like big match coming in August for yourself. But like, where did you get up to in your career before you just took a break?
I kept stopping, man. So I probably should have had 50, 60 fights, but I'm 35. How old am I? 35. I don't even know. I was 17. I started fighting with the Ultimate Crew. And, as soon as we got into the gym, we could fight. They knew we could fight. So we jumped in pretty quick in the, obviously the interclubs and there wasn't much amateurs back then. So whatever there was, we just jumped into it. I had, I think, about 7, 8, 10 fights up in Sydney, Wollongong. They used to put some shows on up there. That was minute and a half rounds, minute rest. So they were awesome. They were fun. But they had about 10 of them. I won all them. I actually won every fight I've ever had, which is interesting. Only one boxing fight. My knee blew out second round. But I won both those rounds. So I lost, but I won. I don't know. I lost that one, whatever. But I mean, professional kickboxing, I'm 15-0 now at the moment, which is good. I don't know. I can't see me losing anytime soon, to be honest. I'm getting better, which is surprising. I can do different things at this age that I couldn't do when I was 25. So it's just crazy. Like I'm actually kicking 6'6", 6'7" now with jump kicks. I couldn't do that when I was younger.
Oh man, still got the springs on you.
And that guy that I'm fighting, Bradford, he's only 6'1", so he's in trouble.
but that's the fight, isn't it, Chris Bradford?
Yeah, we'll get stuck into that. So because like kind of I guess what initially sort of kick-started this conversation is we want to get stuck into this 8-man. You kind of burst back onto the promotional scene with a huge lineup that we're going to get into. But in tandem with promoting this show, you've also come out and said, this is what we're going to do next beyond this show. And you're kind of venturing into that somewhat uncommon area of sort of promoting yourself. So you're going to promote the show and it'll be within your promotional banner, and you're going to be the main event against one of Australia's heavyweight mainstays, well-travelled veteran Chris Bradford. So talk to us a bit about how that came together. Was this just a matter of you're putting on the show and you're putting on other people's fights? It's like, fuck it, let's just put on something for me too. Like, well, how did this come together?
This is our fall show now. My wife, she actually puts all the show together, so I don't do that much. Don't fool yourselves. I don't want to lie to anyone. This is our fourth show. I was supposed to fight on the first show. That was the whole point. I thought, you know what? Let's have a crack at it. Let's see what happens. I know everyone. I sell the whole show for everyone else anyway, so I might as well just have a crack at it myself. And then my opponent fell out. So my cousin Camille Barber, another boxer. The Barber's obviously one of them went to the Olympics, so they're pretty high up in the boxing. Yep. He stepped in. He took the main event. I was on the second one against the American guy, Cyrus Washington.
Yep.
And I fought him at 82 kilos, so light heavyweight. After that, I fought on a power play show again at 82. No, before that, sorry, I fought on power play when Chris Bradford fought Boubier.
Yeah.
So I know Chris. I know who he is. Obviously, he's been around forever. I never thought I'd actually fight him. I didn't think I'd get this heavy, but I'm walking around about 102 now.
Ooh,
so obviously, a couple of shows ago, I fought Cyrus. Mate, you couldn't move in there. It was just jam packed, and it was very hard. I don't think I've ever done such a hard thing in my life. It was just the pressure, the nerves. What if I'm undefeated? What if? And it just done my head in. To be honest, I thought, you know what, I'm never going to do it again. I actually said I'm going to retire. Sitting at home for the last 12 months, going crazy, thinking, why did I open my mouth for? We had another show. We put Susie was on that one. She was the main event on that one. She fought someone from the Philippines. I said, you know what? No one's been doing anything. Let's find something that's going to be massive. So we come up with the eliminator. I was on the phone, come up with a few names, and I actually want Aaron Goodson in this because he's pretty much the man to beat at 78, I think.
Yeah.
But he's got a broken ankle, a fracture, and he's got a bit of a big injury that's holding him back, so he couldn't get into it. Which means Nasar Kassab stepped up, which he's a young up-and-comer. He's a star at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised a few other Melbourne guys out there with decent records didn't jump in. I'll tell you something, mate. Sydney and Queensland, they got some dash up there, mate. Everyone stuck their hand up from up Victoria. So the Bradford thing came as a bit of a fluke, to be honest. We were talking about the eliminator. I was putting that all together, and I was watching Rocky IV. And I'm thinking, fuck, I want to have a fight like that. That'd be fun. I want to get stupid. I want to get dropped. I want to get up. I want to have a Rocky fight like everyone kind of wants to have.
Nice.
And I thought, you know what? Let's make a call. When I sat with Bradford and I said, Chris, what do you think of this? And he looked at me funny. He goes, are you normal? I said, mate, I'm probably heavier than you right now. And I go, look, if you think you're going to bash me, take the fight. It is what it is. I go, I don't think I'm going to lose. You don't think you're going to lose? Let's do it. Let's see what happens. I go, it's good for our sport, which is one. Our sport's going to get a lot of attention. I'm estimating 2,000 to 3,000 people will buy tickets to this. I do myself a lot of tickets. He does a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
So for our sport as a Melbourne-based kickboxing sport, which, like you said yourselves, pretty much Melbourne does kickboxing K1. I don't think there is bigger names, but there's not a bigger fight at the moment. No one wants to fight each other. And especially coming off a 12-month sit at home, stay home rubbish. Besides the eliminator, what else is everyone going to talk about? I thought, you know what, I'll roll it all up into one, give everyone this, get everyone happy, and just roll it into the next. So, you know what, this is what we can do. This is what my shows are about. Here, I'm giving all the next up-and-comers their chance. And then let's give us old guys a bit of a chance on the next one, We'll run it back on the second one. So kind of use this one to platform the next one, use the next one to platform the next one. So just building my brand, building the sport, helping the young guys get we've got Fox Sports and everything, we do the streaming and helping everyone be a superstar. Everyone wants to be famous. Everyone wants to be a superstar in this sport. They want to make glory or one or whatever they want to do. I believe my show's, if not the way to make it, it's going to be. So,
Yeah. And
a lot of attention on my brand at the moment, which is very good. So it's good for the fighters. It's good. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to fight on my shows. If I fight, it's going to be on Pince Promotions. So I think Gory's going to call a 36-year-old. If I can give the next guys their shot, so be it. That's what I'm hoping to do.
And you mentioned there a couple of times creating a platform for kind of the up-and-comers. And always historically in kickboxing, one of the best ways to develop talent is to just throw a bunch of the top guys into one of these 8-man. So much drama, so many storylines can come out of things like that. Do you think the last few years kickboxing has kind of been missing that brand building platform in Australia? Because it has very much kind of, I guess, taken a step back, kickboxing.
Our sport's dead.
Yeah.
Since Tarek Solak, mate, rest in peace. He was the king of this sport, man. There's no bigger promoter than Tarek Solak. He took our sport to the moon and back. There's nothing else to say. There's no one even second. It's Tarek, then Tarek, then Tarek. He was just a star. I don't try and make my shows like his, but that's the bar.
Yep.
If you're not bigger than his shows, which no one's going to get to it, because he had stupid amounts of sponsors. He was doing shows that were ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much where the bar's at. If I could get it 50% of where it was in the 90s and 2000s, I've done more than my job.
Yeah.
The sport's been hurting. A lot of guys are. There's no fighters anymore. People are just jumping in there. Where are the tough cunts? Where are the fighters? I had 50, 60 people put their hand up for this eliminator. I'm struggling to keep the 8 together.
Yeah.
As soon as I put another person out there, I get 2 pullouts. I hurt my hand. I hurt my back. All right, no problem. 2 weeks later, I see him sparring. Are you a fighter? You're a muppet. It's very simple. If you're in, shouldn't carry on Facebook. Yeah, I'm in all the way, no problem, anyone. And then 2 weeks later, you pull out. That to me, you're not a fighter. In my mind, it is what it is. A lot of these guys that said yes from day one, they've told me, mate, if I break a rib, if I die, we don't care. We're coming. They don't care to lose. That's what we want. We want fighters. We want to see who's the toughest cunt in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So and the list we got, they're not the best fighters in the country, but they're the toughest cunts because they're the only ones that are there.
Yeah, it's something like an 8-man. It's such a different animal.
Yeah,
it's like you got to fight like 3 times. Like anything could happen during that night as well. But the mentality to kind of get in there and do it, you got to be somewhere like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and love the violence.
In my mind, you got to be willing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going in there thinking I might lose this fucking thing, well, you don't know where you're going. But all the guys in this, and even Nasar Kassab, you don't know much about him. He's from Melbourne. He's had 9 fights for 1 loss. He lost his first fight. He's won every fight since, which shows a lot. He's a Kyokushin trained fighter. He trains with Nick Carey, trains with Judd Reed.
Okay.
He's been doing Kyokushin tournaments since he could walk. I've seen him. This kid can fight. I've sparred him. This kid can fight. Now, no one knows who he is, but you're talking about a young 20-year-old kid who's been getting punched and kicked for 15 years.
Yeah.
This tournament doesn't bother him. And I've said to him, people are saying, Charlie Bubb. Yeah, Charlie Bubb's an animal, but he goes, man, I couldn't care less about Charlie Bubb. I'm not even worried about him. I couldn't, no, he doesn't care. There's no problem. Let's go. And this kid's 20.
Yeah.
He's used to having 3-4 fights to win a tournament. He's going bare fist, bare shin. These Kyokushin guys are lunatics. If you've ever seen one of their tournaments, like Judd Reed fought 100-man kumite. I just watched it the other way. This guy is another level of lunatic. Like, these people are crazy people. You got to have some.
Need that bit of crazy.
I don't know, man. The level. I don't want to jump in this eliminator. I'll tell you that.
That's the promoting.
Let's as well, just in case people listening, I think there's been a bit of a buzz about the tournament. I think most people are across it, but just in case people listening not understanding, like you're mentioning people kind of pulling out and being a bit flaky about it, but there is a big incentive to win this tournament, right? So let's run through what the winner's going to get.
I'll tell you what the loser gets. You get $1,000 to join this stupid thing. I don't know a lot of fighters that get $1,000, not in their first.
It's a big prize pool.
I mean, it's $20,000 to the winner. It's nearly 50 grand prize pool. So if someone goes, I'm hungry, you lose a fight, mate, as long as you don't get knocked out, no big deal. You still got a decent earn.
Yeah.
And you took a chance at something that not a lot of people in the country are doing. I should have had 3-4 backups for this, like you guys are saying, mate. I got 1 or 2 if I'm lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And not just the money aspect of it. It's look who's in it. I mean, Charlie Bubb, he's pretty much up there, if not the best in the country. He's one of.
Yeah.
Badato making a comeback, which is grouse because he's just a star on his own.
Yeah.
These other guys as well, these young up and comers. This is the best part of this. I've got to stop. Cody, Trey, and Badato. That has plagued us and done our heads in from day one.
Can you explain how that came together, please?
That's our fault. That's my fault. I got Peter Haddon helping me match the shows because he's an older guy. I'll ask all the older guys, him, Johnny Sheeter, ask them all for advice. I don't want to get no one hurt. I want 50-50 fights. I want it all 100%. So I'll think up a matchup and I'll say, guys, what do you think of this? Yeah, it's good. No, it's no good. This guy will win that. I go, I don't want nothing where he's no the winner. I want everything to be on the line, you know. So when I when this came out, I think we put it out there for people to apply, and we got, like I said, stupid amount of entries, but a lot of guys are a bit just underdone. So then Peter spoke to Michael Badato and said, Michael, do you want in? He goes, mate, I'm in. But I'd already spoken to Ryan Hart and said he's told me about Cody, and the brothers hadn't spoken at that time. And then Michael's gone in and said, I'm in an 8-man. He goes, yeah, so's Cody. And then it was like, oh, shit, what do we do? Michael ended up saying, you know what, let him have a crack. And then Cody was in, and then Michael said, fuck it, I want to be in. And then it was just a whole fucking mess. So I spoke to Ryan Hart. We worked it out. I'm just going to have to put him on either side of the pyramid. It's the best I can do. And obviously, they want to fight first up. They're from the same gym.
Yeah.
I said to them, I said, guys, if you make it to the final, you got the best fucking gym in Australia. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it's great that it's happening. I think I reckon if they do make it to fight each other, it's going to be hilarious because they're going to kill each other.
Yeah, let me just take a step back for the listener's sake in case you don't understand what we're talking about, because it's a pretty interesting wrinkle to this 8-man. So you've got in the bracket from pretty much the start, I believe, was up and comer from here in Sydney, Cody Jameson.
Yeah, I think he's 17 fights, 16 wins. So
yeah, something like that. Good, strong up and comer. Someone we've seen fight heaps. And then, as things started to progress and people are pulling out and people are going in, there were some later replacements. And then what ended up happening was a long-time veteran and someone who really deserves to be in the bracket, someone like you'd expect to see in a bracket such as this. He's the battle-tested Michael Badato. But if you don't understand how those two are kind of connected, Cody trains and has had the majority of his career at a full-force gym. He's trained by Ryan Hart Badato, who owns the place, brother of Michael Badato, who has had a mentoring role in Cody's career. They've trained together a fair bit. They've learned from each other. And so he's, one of the kind of staples of the full force gym. It's the Badato brothers, the Badato family. They will now be in the same 8-man bracket. It's crazy.
If it wasn't other than Cody and Michael Badato, because seeing them both fight, I was I've got no qualms that they would bash the living Christ out of each other. Yeah,
no doubt that they've spent rounds on rounds on rounds beating the shit out of each other for free in the past anyway. So let's do it for 20 grand.
Well, if they make the final, like I said, man, that gym is something different because, and like we said before, Charlie Bubb, which you guys obviously know, Charlie Bubb's a star. I watched him beat
one of the best in the world,
and he's quite strong, man. He's a very good fighter. We got this other guy, Daniel Barber, and I think he's from up that way as well.
Yep.
Another strong guy. We got who else we got? Jayden Eynaud. I know a lot of these guys have fought each other, been in different style and different, seats of circumstances. Where are we?
Jayden very strong as well.
Coleman. He's another guy that's in. He's fucking a tree. He's
very tall, very awkward. Yeah, bit of a dark horse guy, Coleman. Yeah.
You know what? When I spoke to them, they're like, mate, we're not coming to lose. So that's what I don't want guys to come and say, I might win a fight. I want guys to say, we're coming to give it. We're going all the way, We've got even this guy, Sarmad. He's from Melbourne. He trains with Mem Sehan. Him and Kassab actually fought, and I was at that. And I think it's about 3 or 4 fights ago between them, something like that. Sarmad just went in there and just tried to take his head off. And Kassab's got the fancy kicks. He's got the style. He's seasoned. He hasn't had a lot of fights, but he's been fighting his whole life. So that fight was grouse. I think it went 5 rounds. They punched on. It was a really good fight. Dropped him, that, up and down. It was a crazy fight. And when I told him, I said, listen, Kassab's in this too. He goes, yeah, grouse, put us first up.
Okay.
So listen, I don't want 2 Melbourne guys to kill each other. I don't even know how we're going to do the draw yet. I want my revenge. I said, listen, make the final, you got your revenge. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. So who else is in this? We've got a few others too. Daniel Barber, we said that. Jayden Eynaud, we said that.
Yeah.
My wife is thinking all this stuff I know.
Well, let's just also talk about it in terms of the motivation to do a weight class like this as well, because you think about when I think traditionally back in the day, K1, you got your K1 Max, it's the heavyweights from there. They were the star weight classes.
Yeah.
For yourself, why this weight class?
It's fast. The reason I want to keep kickboxing alive, I don't even fight with knees. I fight kickboxing, which is pretty much American kickboxing. It's just punches, kicks, no grappling, no catching legs, nothing. It's very fast and very entertaining. A karate fighter like myself, and even Kassab, those rules, they're the best rules. You can punch, you can kick, you can get in, you can box on the inside. It's an entertaining style. Now, even with the K1, the one hand, one knee, all that, if you think back to like Zambidi's time, there was that 72, 74 kilos back then. Fast, hard, people get knocked out. They were killing each other.
Yeah.
You add another 5-6 kilos on that, everyone's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
So that's when I got another light bulb in my head, like Uncle Festa. $1,000 KO bonus.
Ooh.
Yeah. I also was watching Zambides versus Chahid, which it's probably my favourite fight.
Great fight.
Classic fight.
Extension rounds. So then I kept ringing alarms in my head. I'm calling everyone. I'm like, can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? I don't know what I can do. What the hell do I know? I just want to make up all these fights like the movies. So I asked the questions. They said, yeah, you can do whatever you want, pretty much. Things like that's got to get approved. So we got the extension round if there's a draw. You got a KO bonus of $1,000 in their hand. So besides the 20 grand, you can really make some decent money out of this thing.
I mean, if you want to run through the bracket and KO 3 opponents, you've gone home 23 grand richer.
And
basically.
the whole world will be probably saying, that's the man in Australia.
Yeah.
Let's grab him and take him where he wants to go. So that's the hope here, that the winner does get a trip overseas onto one of these big cards. Or even the guys underneath it. I'm sure there's going to be some great fights during it. Even if they don't win, say, the guys that make it to the second round, those guys are going to give it everything they got to make the final.
Absolutely.
And they might not make it, but that will be a great fight. So that's a future main event for another card, for me, for someone else. So it's great for everyone to watch. These guys fought each other once, retribution, put it on again. It's good for the next coming, 5-6 shows, whatever's going to come out of the next year.
Yeah. 8-mans are a lot about stories, I think. It's that story of coming through one fight into the next one. And what's kind of so cool about it as well is the stories you come out with. Like there's these guys, everyone wanted to see them fight and they didn't quite line up in the tournament. We can put it on next time, get a little taste. And
give them the 5 rounds. Give them the, let them leg kick. A lot of guys, they don't want to be throwing a lot of leg kicks just in case the shins get banged up.
Yeah.
Then I've heard other guys go, no, I'm going straight for the legs. I'm like, I would have loved to do one of these in my day, but I don't think they're very fun. It doesn't look good for me.
It's like, I think like, like you think about the bracket. I think about the bracket. You think like Michael Badato. You think like Jayden, like even Charlie Bubb. Man, there's going to be so many like going for that first round knockout. It would have to be the game plan. Wouldn't you reckon?
You'd want to knock your first opponent out. You'd want to have an easy first fight. The second fight, you're not going to have an easy one, but you'd want to knock the first one out. Whoever makes the second fight, whether it's easy or hard, whether they got through it easy, you're right there. It's nearly the final. So they're not going to give up. No one's going to give up in that.
Yeah.
And it's not about the money. It's about the pride. I don't think a lot of these guys are doing this for money. The money is just an incentive to say, you know what? Well, at least we're getting paid to take a chance.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys don't get paid well, and I think that's wrong. I'm a fighter. I'm not doing, even when I fight on other shows, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose. And I tell a promoter, guys, give me anyone you want. I'm not going to lose. I'll fill the whole stadium, your show, whatever. But I'm not going to lose. You're going to have to kill me. I'm not going to lose. And a lot of these guys have that motivation behind them. They don't want to lose. They're not going to kill me. I'm not losing. That's it. So that's what we want. We want to see the guys go in there and do what everyone does. That's our job. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm getting excited, man.
I'm getting excited. I like it.
I go into training or something. I'm like, 8-man. I check the scales. I'm like 102 or something.
that's another.
I actually thought about this. I said to my trainer, I go, you reckon I could get 78? And he goes, shut up, man. He goes, you can't even break 80 something anymore. Because this, obviously the time off, I eat a lot of pancakes and McDonald's. I love to eat, man. So
our food.
That's it. No hate. I like that.
Well, I haven't lost yet, so I can eat what I want.
Kickboxing is a sport built on heavyweights.
I think so. Well, I'm only very short, man. I think I'm 175.
175.
I'm not very big at all, man. But I've got the wide shoulders. I've got the big kicks. So I don't know, Bradford, you're in trouble, man. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, we've got a good few other fights on the night. I got one of my guys from my gym. He's coming up. His name's Wilson Lay. We call him Bruce. Now, not because he fights like Bruce Lee, just because he's pretty much. His name's Lay. He's Asian. I said, mate, you're Bruce. That's it. So he's got the whole stigma behind him. He's fighting a Japanese kid from up in Cairns.
Yeah.
And this kid Bruce, I'll tell you a bit of story behind him. He came to us. He was getting a young kid from Melbourne. Melbourne's pretty rough, man. He had a few fights in the street, this and that. Got hurt. And he came. He goes, Prince, I just want to learn how to defend myself. I said, I can teach you that. That's easy. So training. I said, jump in the amateur, see how you go, because he was sparring anyway. We threw him in. He lost. We threw him in again. He lost. We threw him in again. He lost. We threw him in again. He was bashing. His guys beating him. Gets caught with a head kick last 20 seconds. Drops. Gets up. Gets a draw. This guy's devastated. I just couldn't get him a win in the amateurs. And I said, Bruce, the time will come. Let's just go pro. Fuck it. See what happens. Okay, if you lose, fuck it. We'll call it a day. He gets in the pros, wins. Hard fight. Gets in the pros, wins. The guy's 3-0 in the pros. So all that hard work and all that mental pressure and losing and just doing his own head in, he's 3-0 now in the pros. And I haven't given him an easy fight. He's got an even harder fight now. He's going for a state belt. I think he's going for something. But, mate, I'll put this kid to spar anyone. I'll take him around, mate, and everyone says the same thing. He is just tough. This kid he's had his day losing, you know, and he doesn't want to lose anymore. I said, Bruce, I can show you what to do, but you've got to go in there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And he sparred. I thrown him in with a few, like, really experienced guys. And I said, Bruce, this kid's had 20, 30 fights. Yeah, that's all right. You know, he's got that mindset now where, you know what? He's not doing it for money. He's not doing it to be famous. He's just doing it because, you know what? I'm never going to get picked on again. I'm never going to get hurt again. You know what? I can do it. I'm good enough to do it. So I'm going to go and give it everything I've got until I've had enough. So I got high hopes for this kid. I reckon we're going to get a bit of a star out of this Bruce kid. So
One to watch?
I think coming up, he's only 3 or 4 fights in, but give him another 5, and I don't know, man. I think we can do some big stuff with this kid, man.
I'm like, you know, as we talked about in other episodes, mindset's just such a big thing, isn't it?
I've got kids at my gym that are stars. That'll give me a run. They buckle. They just can't get over the pressure, the nerves. They'll pull out. They do my head in. I tell Bruce, mate, you're fighting tomorrow. You finally got 22-0. Yeah, all right, whatever. Couldn't care less. So I could have Zambides walking in my gym. If you can't get through the pressure, what's the point?
Yeah.
This kid, he's not really technical. He's not a really good fighter. He's just so tough, very basic, but he walks forward and keeps walking. He's like a truck. This guy just keeps going, and he won't let you alone. I spar him, and he does my head in. Bruce, I'm 100 man. I'm going to pop you on. But yeah, he's a bit of a star coming up. I got another big guy, Tino. This is an interesting one. My boy Tino's 150 kilos. Young kid, 20-year-old Kiwi kid. He's fighting someone 180 kilos.
That's a big fight.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. I think they're just going to close their eyes and swing for it. But
I hope you're reinforcing that ring.
I can't get these guys anything else. I can't get them sparring. I can't get them amateurs.
Yeah.
So I spoke to his name's Matai, the opponent.
I know. I've seen him fight up in Queensland in December. I knew it had to be him because who else could be that big?
Yeah, no, there's only 4 in the country. There's only 4 guys, you know, in that big bracket that are all young, and their skills are about the same. They're all, you know, around the same level. So we've all spoken to all the trainers and said, look, let's just let them all fight each other because at least we know where they're at. They're not going to get killed going in there fighting someone that's had 20 fights overseas.
Yeah.
In the experience, let's put them on each other. So, you know, hopefully those 4 boys can maybe get somewhere out of it, maybe get a few in, you know. And it's good for the crowd. That fight I've seen, they banged that out, man. That was
a cracker fight. Yeah, it was really good.
They were just swinging for the fences. That was awesome.
Yeah, they poured it out in that fight.
One of them got dropped in the first round. Is that the big guy got dropped?
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah. We're fighting the other one.
It was a good story, that fight, because like you see the absolute unit, like you just go, oh man, this guy ended like 1 minute, but he came back and he
came back. Yeah,
he almost got it. I think he almost got it in the end, but
yeah,
it was pretty close.
Yeah, majority decision in the end. Yeah,
I think they both gassed, but
back
to the eliminator, man. I don't know what else to say about it. It's something special. It's if it's not the old, you know, like Badato's, you know, he's not old, but he's old, man. He's been around forever. If it's not the legends of last year, it's the next guys, man. These are the next guys to make it, you know. They might not win this eliminator, but in 2-3 years, you'll know these guys' names.
Yep.
It's not from this. They're going to shine, you know, in the next couple of years throughout whatever.
Yeah, because it's that development, right? Like going into something like an 8-man, just the challenge and the pressure of it, especially as one of these up-and-comers, like you only get better from doing it. From the tech.
You got nothing to lose as long as you don't get knocked out.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get knocked out, which none of you should, you know, unless you get caught. But I mean, no one's going to go out there doing, you know, with your chin up being stupid. You shouldn't. I don't think you should. There's nothing to lose in a loss on this. You've got the guts to jump into it. I mean, the mental pressure yourself, anyone that fights knows, man. It's not easy to go through. Just to hear you're on next, it's like,
yeah.
I won every fight, but every time I hear, you're up next, I'm like, here we go. We're at this spot again. All right, get yourself ready. We're going to go. You know, you got to mentally prepare, you know, and to do that 3 times in one night, far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's huge.
But it's like, you know, it's like huge Pirates pool, like biggest I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, biggest Australian.
And like like 8-man. It's like, yeah, like damn, it's like
I love 8-man tournaments. One of my favorite things in combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it'll show us who's the real best.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie Bubb's a very good fighter. If he doesn't win it, is he that good? Because everyone's saying he's going to win it, but you know what? A lot of people there got a chance. Badato's
Yeah.
got it. Why doesn't Badato have a chance to win it? He's been in that many of these. It's not funny.
Yeah. So on that note, like, so there's been quite a long promotional cycle for this. I think I first saw yourself and Emma Coley kind of drop the announcement you were going to do this a fair few months ago, probably like maybe
December?
even. Yeah.
Tell
So
you why. I wanted to give everyone enough chance, so no one's got the excuse to say, "Oh, I took this on last notice."
yes.
I don't know and give me an excuse. You know, you win, you lose, mate. I won, I lost. If I ever lost the fight, mate, all the best. You got me. Shake hands. Well done.
Yeah.
You run it back. You know, but I want everyone to have enough time to. You know, you got to talk to your trainers. Can we do this?
Yeah.
Can I get through this? You know, if I was to go into whether I think I'm going to win it or not, I want to speak to my trainers. Do you reckon my body's going to hold up? Are we good enough to get through 3 fights? What's going to happen? You know, because like I said before, I had 12 or 15 guys that I'd approved. And I said, look, guys, I'll figure out who the 8 is. As soon as I announced another one, I get 2 pullouts. Then I announced another one. Oh, he beat us already. Well, what do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
You're going to get 8 guys you're going to smash. What do you think this is? This is an eliminator. It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it out early more. And also because of all the closures and you know, we don't know what's going on. So just to get enough buzz behind it and get everyone, you know, hyped up about fights again.
Yeah.
And we'll be sitting around twiddling our thumbs doing nothing.
Yeah.
So got something to look forward to.
And I think coming that clear to the, like, it was such like a kind of tumultuous time to attempt to put on a show. To just come out in December and go, in 4 months, 3 months, we're going to put this on. It helps because you can just let it develop as things kind of calm down. But
I think the shows should be announced a bit earlier. I think a lot of fighters and a lot of promoters just kind of throw things out there and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I don't want to run it that way. I've already talked about August. Coming close to August, I'm going to let you know what I'm doing in December.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know that Prince Promotions, this is what we're about. This is what we're doing, you know. We're not going to surprise you with, we had a pull out, now I'm fighting some nobody from Ass Creek. This is the guy. I'm fighting this bloke on this day. You'll know if there's a pull out. Now, he's not going to injure himself tomorrow and pull out. You've got enough time to plan your training camp, to get through it all, to make sure you're ready. You've got enough time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had guys pulling out, telling me I hurt my back, sending me doctor's letters and all this crap. I go, man, if you're out, you're out, whatever. 2 weeks later, they're sparring. Like, are you serious? That means you buckled. There's nothing else to it. I don't believe any of that.
Yeah. So in that, like, speaking same on that note of kind of putting it together early. So you're drafting up this 8-man. When you first decided to do it, obviously there's been a lot of chopping and changing, but which were the names that you're like, right off the bat, that guy I need in the 8-man? Like, was there a couple of guys in this bracket that was sort of priority issue that you went after straight away? How did that kind of come to, or did you let them come to you?
Yeah, I didn't ask anyone.
No.
I put it out there and said, who wants in? Let us know. Because I don't know what contracts people have. I don't want to step in anyone's toes. Maybe they already gave them word to another promoter and said, all right, I'm going to fight this bloke on that date, but let's keep it dark. I can't go out there and be offering fights and, you know, kind of doing the wrong thing to other promoters. So I don't want to be that guy. I want to put it out there, guys, if you're free, this is what we're doing. If you want in, if you think you're good enough, hit us up.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys hit us up. A couple of guys actually reached out and said, I'll speak to my management. Whatever, no problem. We reached out and it didn't work out. So be it. Because they had other fights booked and whatever else. Because there is a few other things. You can't take another fight close to this.
Yeah.
I can't risk an 8-man on your fight somewhere else 2 months out or, you know, 5 weeks out or something. You get injured in that fight, you wreck my 8-man. So there was a few other things in the contract that had to be done, you know, to make sure that the 8-man stays strong.
Yeah.
All these guys want to get one quick one in say, January. That affects me. That wrecks me. So I have to let them know, guys, this is what we're going to do. If you got to dedicate yourself to me. I need this time. You need this time to know you can't take a fight for X amount of weeks, you know, and so forth and all the rest of it, just to make sure that they're 100% committed to me. Because at the end of the day, I'm putting the money out of my pocket. This is my money. I'm saying the money was. I'm happy to put it on. I'm hoping I don't go broke doing it, but you know, I want to build our brand. I want to build the shows. I want to build kickboxing. So the only way to do it is to make big shows and big fights.
Yep.
This is as big as you get.
That's right.
Massive. To be honest with you, I'm going to let a little secret out.
Please.
Over 300 or 400 people from interstate coming to this. That's how big this is.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know 300 interstaters that go to a lot of other shows.
Yeah.
Almost zero.
There's a big appeal. It's exciting. Like, it's definitely the kind of thing you'd travel in for. You know, a big high quality 8-man is something that's not. It's quite a rarity. There's like only one here and there.
Just to like think about that. 300 people have bought the ticket. They're going to drive or fly or make the arrangement. They're going to get the hotels. They're going to spend that money to support their own people.
Yeah.
That shows great form for their fighters, mate. Look at the people you got backing you. You got great people coming to help you, coming to support you. You know, coming all the way to Melbourne. You know, that shows that what the show is. That, you know, if we're not the biggest show in the world, but you know what, we're coming.
Yeah.
The shows are coming, mate. If you don't know what Pince Promotions is, you will very soon.
Yeah.
We're coming, mate. I'm sure everyone does know who we are now, but I carry on a lot on internet. But
you and me both.
Yeah. You see my videos? I don't know. I had a lot of views, man.
Do it. It's like yeah, just promote as much as you can. Get on
That's
there.
another thing. All the promoters in Melbourne and Australia are all old players. They're all 50, 60. They're all older blokes. I'm a young bloke. I'm still fighting. I don't know anyone else that does this shit I'm doing. No one jumps in there and ring on their own show. And if they do that, most of the time they lose. And prove me wrong, because I know them all. They all lost.
When you start, like, you know, started, like, you know, you go, when did you actually go, you know what, I'm going to do my own promotion? And it's like, you know, it's like, did you come into the mind frame just, I think it's time to put kickboxing back in the map in Australia and give these guys the platform that they need to, like, you know, grow upon?
I kind of fluked it, to be honest. I didn't think it would do what it's doing. The only reason this works is because my wife does it. I don't have. I'm gonna break. I'm gonna let. She's laughing at me. I don't actually do much of anything. No, I'm the Prince. I'm Pince Promotions. She's the promoter.
You're the face.
I wouldn't have one clue about any of the rules. I wouldn't have one clue about, like, I don't know nothing. I wouldn't have an idea. I'm the promoter. She's the promoter, but I'm the poster boy. That's the way we sell it.
Where's your wife? Get your wife on.
I'm famous. You stay over there. Camera shy. But that's the way it works, man. Like, all the other old school promoters, it was one person. I'm the guy on the screen. Everyone knows me because I've been around forever. I got a lot of friends, a lot of friends that support me. I've got a lot of money, man. Buy a table, buy a ticket, support me, support the shows, help the young guys. Most of the guys that come to my show, I train their kids at my gym. I look after. I got over 130 kids at my gym. You know, all their dads are builders or, you know, lawyers or real estate agents. Something. They've got money. Buy a ticket. Help me do the show. Help the gym. So when we done the first one, it actually did not bad. So we're pretty surprised. Then when I fought in the second one, I thought, you know what? Actually, this works. And actually, I was probably. My cousin tells me all the time, Lim Jekka, he goes, mate, you were made to be a promoter. Stop fighting. He goes, you are perfect for this job. That's it. Your whole life, you wasted your whole life. Just be a promoter. Now, I'm good on the camera. I'm good at talking to people. I know everyone. Everyone likes me. I'm pretty friendly, I suppose. And her knowing all the paperwork and the rules and booking, and I couldn't be fucked doing any of that shit. I don't even have a computer, man. What do I know?
That's fair, though. Like,
that's the way it works. Like, I couldn't be able to do it both. I couldn't be able to do all the organising and bloods and doctors and rubbish and then fight. I'd get knocked out. I'd be too full in the head. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. I'd probably get sick. So her running the whole show and running the whole, she runs it. I don't have nothing to do. I just go there and wear a nice suit and make sure my hair. That's about it. You
got to each play to your own strengths.
That's pretty much what she does. She does the 49%. I do 51. Look, she couldn't do a show without me. I don't think I could do a show without her. So it's a perfect fit. It just works.
I like it.
So there's a bit of luck in that, you know. But even that, we never thought that we'd be doing this. You know, I'm just happy it's successful. I'm happy it's working. I pretty much stopped used to do building and other things. I pretty much stopped everything now. You know what? I'm going to give this 100% of my attention. Let's just put all our eggs in one basket. We've got 2 gyms. Gyms are pumping. The shows are pumping. There's a big hole in the market. Here's the Prince. Have it. He's won it. We're here.
I like it.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. And like I said, I know everyone. I've been fighting since 2003. You know, like I should have had probably 50 fights by now. But I kept taking time off, working, do what I got to do. So now that we've come full circle back to where we started, back to fighting, I guess we'll just take over the promotional side of it.
So on that, a little bit more, I was interested to get into on the 8-man was like, so you mentioned that it's always interesting how you kind of arrange the bracket, right? So you've mentioned that you've got to put Cody and Michael on opposite sides. So it's obviously not a random draw. Are you seeding this bracket? Are you kind of just making the matches you want to see? How are you going about organising that first bracket?
I haven't done any of that, to be honest. What I've done is pretty much you can't have Michael and Cody on the same end of the pyramid. It's just not going to work.
Yep.
It's not going to work for them because how's Reinhardt going to corner both his own guys? Doesn't work. I spoke to Reinhardt. I said, look, if he's get to the final, whatever, we can get. He's bringing another guy as well, but it's just not going to work. Now, does everyone want to see Badato versus Bubb first fight? They probably don't win that. Whoever wins that fight doesn't win the tournament because they're fucked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you got to play what's best for the card.
Yeah.
So you put Bubb over there, you put Badato over there. You put, like I haven't done this yet, but I almost have to kind of just throw them around and see what happens.
Yeah. Kind of take like a seeded sort of approach.
I'll be honest with you, I don't have a clue about how I'm supposed to arrange that. I was going to pull it out of a hat. I was speaking to a lot of guys, they got to pull it out of a hat, but then we got that issue. Do I have Melbourne versus Melbourne first fight? Do I have Sydney versus Sydney? Like, it's kind of stupid. It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
You want to see Melbourne versus Sydney. You want to see Queensland versus Melbourne. You want to see Brisbane. You want it to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not to make the final I don't care who's in the final. All the best. Whoever wins it, mate, I wish you all the best in the world. To me, it doesn't bother me. All the boys that jumped in it, they're all champions, all warriors. But how would you do it?
I mean, it's an interesting. I think to me, I like I think there's different approaches you can take, right? Because there's the drama of just a random draw. Like, just go, someone pulls a name out of a hat. But like you said, sometimes you got this cracker match that'll be sweet for the final. And it can be somewhat anticlimactic if that's the first one, right? You get your two top dogs. And then you've got other little story elements. Like, you can't have Cody go out there and draw Michael. It's very interesting. And probably this is one of the more complicated 8-man tournaments to try to do the first bracket. It's it's really interesting.
I'll give you another problem. Even just say Nasar Kassab, or I think it's a guy Coleman. They've had, I think, 10, 11 fights. If they get Charlie Bubb first, how does that go? Maybe they beat him, but maybe they don't. But if they get him in the final, it's anyone's fight.
Yeah.
That's another way to look at it. There's some guy with 10 fights that's got the balls to jump in this, fight a Badato that's had 60.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not a good fight. Maybe someone gets hurt. So it's kind of, you got balls to take these fights,
Yeah.
If you believe you can beat them, all the best. I don't think anyone here is going to get hurt. I think they're all just going to go one way, just forward and turn it up. But in saying that, someone's getting knocked out. There's KO bonuses, man. These guys are going to go for the kill. So do I kind of arrange it to give everyone the fairest run, which there's no really way to do that. I really don't know at the moment. I really don't.
It's kind of a lot to get into.
I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah.
and again, like you said, if Badato and Bubb fight first, and then you got all these guys fighting, who's in the main event? We don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So we don't know anyway. But it's very hard to figure this out. I've only ever watched one of these, and it was just brutal. Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Okay, like your experiences so far, like doing the tournament. Do you reckon you'll do another one? Maybe it's like a 72 kilo or a 70 kilo one down the line. Because I saw like some of the original, he's 70 to 72. Take whatever. I was just going on like some of the original names I saw on the tournament.
There's a 71 kilo tournament into the year.
Oh, woo!
Just saying.
Yeah. That's it, man. Because like I saw some of the original names on this. I go, they're pretty light.
The names I've got in, or like the few guys I've already asked to jump in, are ridiculous. Like we're talking 100 fights plus. They're just lunatics.
Yeah.
So where does that work? Then I've got guys that have had 20 fights and say, "Yep, chuck me in it." I just threw it out there as a question. I said, "Look, anyone in Melbourne keen on this?"
Yeah.
My phone lit up for 2 days. That's an awesome weight. So I want to do a 70, maybe 70. The reason I picked 78 as well. I don't want no one coming in there's no point to put 78 to 80. They're all going to come in at 79.9. There is no point. So it's 78.0. That's the number. However, whatever, that's the number. I don't want no bracket because there's no point. No one's going to come in a kilo under it. You're going to come in at the top of it.
Yeah.
So that's even like we just said, I'd pick, say, a 71. That's the number. I'm hoping for December to run a 71 kilo 8-man tournament. 20 grand, if not more. I'll do the same thing, I reckon. There's no one deserves more money. I don't think because they're heavier they deserve more. I think if the money's right, if I can make it work and I can do it at, if I can do the same numbers, we'll be fine. We'll run a 71 kilo tournament in December.
I like the sound of that.
I wasn't supposed to tell you that. She's telling me off right now. I watch all the other promoters go and say, "Oh, he's taking all the 70 kilo guys." Fuck. All they're doing is
It's like, it's like there's enough to go around, especially like that weight class.
There's
Big
actually
weight
not. No, there's actually not.
Yeah.
No.
That's the problem. Yeah. The
Fair
problem
enough.
is the sport's just been raped. It's just been killed.
Well, yeah, if you think of like just plain kickboxing, yeah, that's true. There is
It's been raped
a lot of that.
for too many years.
Yep.
Fighters have been getting, shit fights. Fighters being. There's nothing left. There is no kickboxing. There is no kickboxing. There is no K1. I mean, power play is the only one. Johnny Sheeter's doing it, and tell me anyone else. I don't know anyone else. So now that I'm here, I'm going to keep it alive as best as I can. And I mean, like I said, Jayden Eynaud, power play, he's 60. I think 60 years old, 55. Don't hate me, Joe, if I'm wrong, but he's 65. Like, how many more years are you going to run? It's time. It's my time. I'm coming up. I'm gonna keep doing this now. I've got a 20-year run in me. I'm gonna give this sport the next 10, 20 years of my life. Hopefully, we can do a good job with it. They've done what they've done. Nothing against them. They're still going to run whether I'm here or not. I don't think I affect anyone out there, but it's kind of it's my time. I'm coming here. I'm putting on good shows. I'm spending the money, man. The lights, the camera action. I've got runways. Wait till you see the show, man. It's something special. I really put a lot of money into production and lighting, and it's something special,
I like that ambition. I'm really excited to see this show. I can feel from like your energy towards this. I think this is.
I put 30 grand into the venue that I don't even have nothing to do with. I spent 30 grand fixing their venue up just to make sure it looks mad for my cameras.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
It's your venue now, then.
Yeah, you practically bought the venue.
Any more questions?
I mean, I guess
I just got a text from Chris Bradford. Is this live somewhere? Does he know what we're doing?
no, that's
not live at the moment.
I'll be upset. He's sending me pictures. I have a laugh with Chris. I'd call him up. I go, Chris, did you watch my video? He goes, yeah, stop saying you're going to bash me. I'm going to wreck you, man. You're old. I'm going to smash you. He goes, yeah. All right, we'll see.
Before your fight, like in the lead up to the August show, we'll have you back on to promote it a little bit. What we'll do is we're going to have
Chris too, man.
We'll do Bim and Chris into one episode. I reckon that'll be pretty good.
Yeah, that'll be pretty.
If you've seen anyone that's if you haven't seen my video, man, go to Pince Promotions on Facebook. I'm going to plug my own stuff, boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Promotions on Facebook. Check out our stuff. There's a bit of highlights of our last couple of shows. The few interviews. Now, these interviews I'm doing, I mean, one of them got 11,000 views. One's on 7, one's on 5. That's a lot of views, man, for a little Melbourne show.
Yeah.
I'm in the western suburbs. I'm in a reception. I'm not in Margaret Court Arena or anything. So what the reason I'm doing it is social media is a massive part. Everyone's got their phone in their hand. Now, Fox Sports, great. I'm on Fox Sports. All my shows have been on Fox. Who's got Foxtel? It's almost a dead thing.
It's an older medium.
It's an older thing, For our generation, you got Fight TV. We're on the Fight TV app.
Yep.
That's where you stream our shows. Everything's in your hand. Everything's going to be even more in your hand in the coming years. So, me doing these little interviews, it takes a bit of time off me and Johnny and whoever's helping us out, but it tells everyone what we're doing. It lets everyone know. Everyone's got Facebook, Instagram. Everyone's got all these mediums. So, I think that's the way to go coming forward. Let everyone know what's happening. Let everyone know what you want to do. Put it out there. See what people are saying about it. I get calls from all over Australia. Mate, we love what you're doing. Never mind my personal stuff. All the Pince promotion stuff I'm doing, it just puts attention on our sport, which is hurting. So, me and any other promoter out there, I work with all the promoters out there, even boxing ones. Let's help all the fight sports get back to where it was. Let's get them all pumping again. Let's get all the gyms filled up with kids. Let's get all the next generation of fighters coming up. And let's get the shows full, to the point where you're turning people away. They can't buy a ticket. So let's just pump our sport right back to where it should be. UFC killed us. UFC killed all our sports. I got a lot of the Thai shows. There's not a lot of people in them. They should be shockers. People are getting elbowed in their head, and these guys are lunatics. No one's going to elbow me, man. Fuck that. Crazy people. These elbow people for sure.
Of course. All right, so just fix my mic. Listen, it's on the fritz today.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
That's all right. I'll just hold on to it here. All right, Pince. Look, man, we really appreciate your time coming in, talking to us about the 8-man that pretty much whole Australia's talking about. Pretty excited coming up. And if you check our show notes, we'll put the link for with the Get Your Show from there, and also your Instagram as well, where you can keep following you live and all the updates as come through. And hey, dude, we appreciate you for coming on.
No,
we're excited for the show.
I like I said, I seen your first podcast. Was it a week ago? And yeah, I was wrapped. I reached out to you and you wanted me on straight away, so I feel very famous. And I've been telling everyone, yeah, no, I've got to go. I'm on the radio. I'm on this big podcast and that. Look, I'm too famous for everyone now. So everyone's jealous. They think, where's he going, this bloke, you know? But yeah, no, we'll it's great to have guys like yourself. And even what else I'm going to do? I want to help the sport. I love what you guys are doing. Just talking about it, like I said, online. Everyone's in a play this in the car. I played it in the car.
Yeah.
While I'm driving, boom, put your podcast on. Let's listen to it. It's the way to go. So anytime you want me on, I'm here.
Yeah.
Anyone else out there in the sport, man, jump on. Let's get the shows pumping again.
Awesome. So just we'll play the intro. Just hang on a little bit. From there, we'll talk a little bit afterwards there. But like everyone else, guys, like, share, subscribe, all our shit. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Boom.